Hello everybody, I'm Razorblade Mango, and now let's try this again. Let's try this again with the E3, my thoughts on E3 Part 2, because as you guys know, or haven't heard yet, I actually recorded a version of this a few days ago, and I really didn't like it. I went back and listened to it, because I try to listen to all the things before I put them up. I didn't really like it. It sounded boring, so I'm just going to come back and I went on and on and on about too much stuff. So, let's try this again. So, Sony's E3 2015 conference. It kicked ass. It kicked loads of ass. This conference succeeded all of my expectations, and I said in a previous video that I wasn't expecting much from Sony this year. I was expecting them to just pull out their whole, oh, well, here's third-party exclusive stuff where we got the DLC here, and we got Project Morpheus over here, and yeah, we're going to have a little demo for Uncharted at the end, but here's all this other crap that no one's going to really care about. We probably wouldn't see that many new IPs. Probably nothing really exciting. And in this situation, I couldn't be happier to be more wrong. I was beside myself with joy that my favorite video game company actually managed to pull it off. And they did deliver a really fantastic E3 conference. In fact, I actually was depressed because I thought Microsoft's was going to be better. I was thinking, there's no way Microsoft's is going to be worse than Sony's. There's no way Sony's is going to trump that. There's no way. They're going to have to pull, and I was telling a friend this, they're going to have to pull some major bombshells, drop some major shit if they're going to beat Microsoft. And I think this E3 will go down as Sony's trifecta of bombshells. And I'll actually save those for last, because those I want to talk about last. So let's start off with the second thing they announced. It's a brand new IP from Guerrilla Games, who are the guys that have done the Killzone series since the beginning of time. And this is their new IP. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn. And normally even I'm sick and tired of post-apocalyptic stuff. I really could care less about the zombie post-apocalyptic stuff these days. That's why I'm honestly not a big fan of The Walking Dead or anything like that. Except for the Telltale games, which are amazing. But this game is set 1,000 years into the future, where mankind is dead and machines have taken over, and the world has regrown into this nature paradise, basically. We're pretty much gone back to the hunter-gatherer era, where, there was a lot of tribal stuff going on. And you play a woman, which is good, thank you, more female protagonists. A woman who is a part of the first known tribe in this new civilization. And we don't really know much about the story. I think she has to travel this world in order to achieve some kind of goal, which that seems to be the thing with a lot of them, but we don't know any specifics. And stuff like robotic dinosaurs, robotic animals roam the area, and what's interesting about this is that, not every animal is going to be, dangerous, and like we've known, not every animal is dangerous, not every animal poses a threat, but there's also the sense that there are dangerous animals out there. There are predators that you have to take down, probably for their scrap that you use to improve your bow and all that stuff, which was really cool. And it just looked beautiful. I'm constantly just amazed by how much power they can get out of the PlayStation 4. It looks gorgeous. And they actually showed gameplay, which when I saw the trailer, I kept thinking, yeah, this looks cool and everything, and that's nice that it's in-game, but I guess we're not going to see some gameplay? Oh my god, gameplay. And they just transitioned right from this little trailer, this intro to the world, into gameplay. And if this really is what a version of what the final gameplay is going to be like, count me in. I will definitely buy this day one. I will be ecstatic to get my hands on this, because it looks great. And it was one of the great surprises of E3 for me. And I also really like how there's a certain kind of respect and relationship between the animals. Like I said, not animals pose a threat, but the fact that when this woman, she's hiding before she goes after her prey, when one of the robots scans her and is about to alert the others, she actually runs up and kills it. And it's not some kind of thrill you get out of the kill. It's a, I'm sorry I had to do this. You posed a threat to me. This was a necessity. It's like a mutual respect that humans and these robots have between one another. It's really interesting. And it goes against the grain as far as from what we've seen from a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff, which the usual case is everything is meant to kill you. But that doesn't seem to be the case here, which is really cool. So I'm really excited about that. Next thing they showed off was the new Hitman game, just called Hitman. Now, I don't know, this seems to be more, they showed more at the Square Enix conference, which this seems more to be like the old school Hitman rather than Absolution, which I'm all for, because I like the old Hitman games. I played them a lot back on the PlayStation 2. And one of the trends that I really didn't care for during this conference was the fact that we're going to get content-exclusive stuff on the PS4. Which, to me, is just... I never like that. Honestly, I never like that. Unless it's something console-specific, like when... like in, I think it was Dead or Alive 3 or Dead or Alive 4, when one of the Spartans from Halo was in that. That makes sense. That's an Xbox exclusive because that's an Xbox-owned franchise. That I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with Kratos being in Mortal Kombat 9 either. That didn't bother me because that's a cool thing for Sony, because that is a PlayStation character. But this whole thing, this whole trend, and Microsoft is just as guilty about doing this too, where they have to go, oh, here's the exclusive content for DLC here. We're going to have all the content first on this particular console for 30 days or whenever. And that shit just gets so annoying. Honestly, it's like you're just pulling out your shit and you're just going, oh, my shit is shinier, because it's like you're getting the same product, but we have more content over here because we paid more money for it. Which I'm really starting to get sick of. Alright, moving on. The next thing they showed off was, of course, Street Fighter V, which I knew they would. Thankfully, they didn't go into it for very long. All they showed off was the return of two characters, Cammy and Birdie, which I knew Cammy was going to be in this game. It's like, there isn't a single... that was one of my predictions. Besides M. Bison, I was thinking, yeah, Cammy is going to be in this game. And there she is. Birdie is in it. Birdie looks way different than the last time I saw him, especially with that fucking beer belly of his. But I don't know. I'm starting to actually get into Street Fighter V more, because I'm not a big Street Fighter guy. But it looks interesting. I'm not going to buy it day one, because I learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson with past fighting games. I'm going to wait for some kind of Ultra Edition where you get all the DLC stuff, which, hey, that'll be much better. And then Hello Games came off, which I knew they were going to do, but I didn't think it would be this short and this straight to the point with No Man's Sky, because at every single one of these events that we've seen No Man's Sky, it's always this thing about how, oh, well, our world is so huge, our world is so wonderful, here's some staged gameplay for you, here's some staged trailer. This time, he actually, Sean Murray, the director, he actually came on and played the game before our eyes. And we got a sense of space combat. We got a sense of how enormous this galaxy is. I think he said every star, something like every star you see on this gigantic map is a solar system with its own planets and planet-sized moons. And it was crazy. I just and the amount of stuff that I've seen. And he even flew into a completely different galaxy and discovered this planet that he humorously dubbed Planet E3, which I thought was really funny. And it just looks really good. It looks a lot more interesting than I've seen from past, and it already piqued my interest before. But I think this might be number 2 or number 3 my most anticipated game for the rest of the year now. I don't know, I might do a list about that, but I probably not, because I don't know. We'll see. Because there's been stuff that's been announced since then, so we'll see. So that looked really good. And then one of the other new IPs that came on was Media Molecule, who are known, of course, for Little Big Planet. They came on and revealed this new IP of theirs called Dreams. And I don't really know how to describe it. It's a really interesting looking game. It looks like a dream it's basically a dream creator, a dream or depending on your mood, a nightmare creator. And they showed things ranging from cute and cuddly to kind of a comedy horror thing with the teddy bear killing zombies, which I thought was really odd, to a guy playing the piano, to this Tron Star Wars looking thing. It looked really interesting, and he actually played it on stage for us, which that, again, a common theme with this is they actually showed gameplay. They actually had people on stage doing gameplay, which I liked for the most part. It looked really good. So I'm curious to learn more about Dreams, because I'm all for new IPs, and I didn't think they'd show very many, but they showed quite a bit from what I expected. So I'm really looking forward to that. The next one they showed is something I've really been looking forward to. I don't know how many people knew about this game. It's called Firewatch, and I found out about it a few months back when IGN did a first look at it, and it was this 15 to 20 minute demo, and it blew me away. How beautiful it looked, how natural the dialogue felt, how great the sense of humor was, how there's this anticipating this building mystery to it, this edge of darkness to it. It seemed really interesting, and I loved it. And even back then I thought, God damn it, this will probably be only on the PC, and since my PC is a piece of shit, I probably won't be able to play it. And then, boom! Announced for PS4, Firewatch. Thank you, God. Thank you. I think this is coming out this year. This is another game that I'm going to be getting day one, because I was really excited about this. And if you guys haven't seen the trailer or the IGN first thing where it's a 15-minute demo of it, go check it out. It looks incredible. And it appeals to a lot of what I'm interested in games, especially me as a story-driven person, a fan of story-driven games, where this looks like right up my alley. Definitely looking forward to that. And then we got into Destiny, which I'm not going to talk about that very much. I swore I would never talk about Destiny, and I'm really tempted to make a video about this new Taken King bullshit, but I'm not, because I'm tired of ranting and raving about it. It's just, you can hear what I'm going to say from a million other people. It's not worth it. But I must admit, before all this controversy went down, I actually saw interesting things in this DLC, this expansion called The Taken King, and it was one of the worst kept secrets of E3, because dumbass Red Bull spoiled it, because they apparently have this marketing deal with Red Bull, where you buy Red Bull and you get a code for the pack. It's so fucking stupid. I fucking hate that shit. So there's that. And then I'm going to say, like I said, I'm going to save the two bombshells, the other two bombshells at the end. We got Devolver Digital, I think it was like 4 or 5 indie titles, which they looked all alright, but after the big bombshell, it was kind of a cool down period for us. And then they showed off Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I want to be on board with this, and I am somewhat looking forward to it, because this Victorian era London appeals to me a lot more than the French Revolution. I mean, it looks cool. You can finally fight on top of cars. I love trains. I love that you can actually do dual roles now, where you play as either Jacob Fry or Evie Fry, and this gameplay showed Evie Fry. And I was honestly getting tired of seeing the brother, because the brother seems to be the main character, and the sister's just kind of a side character. But no, I like in this trailer that they actually gave off this sense that you do not fuck with this sister. She will kill you in a heartbeat. She is the more Altair, where the brother is more, Edward Kenway. And the sister is more Altair, where it's more of a stealth-based thing, which I really like. And she was fucking brutal with her kills. Poor guy that gets thrown into the furnace, and the guy that gets crushed by the presser. Oh my god, it was pretty gory, which I thought was really cool. And then Square Enix showed off this thing called the World of Final Fantasy. It's like some chibi thing, which it looked alright. I don't know if I'd play it day one. I really doubt it. I'd probably wait until it was, I don't know, like $10 or $20 or something. But we'll see. Oh, and of course the Assassin's Creed, it's getting content exclusive stuff on the PS4, which, whatever. And then Sony showed off the cinematic trailer for Batman Arkham Knight, which is actually a sort of condensed version of the first few minutes of the game, which that looked great. I love that they use thankfully they still do it in the actual game, where they have Frank Sinatra's Under My Skin. I love that they use that song. It's so great. It sets the tone for the rest of the game so well. And then they showed off... I gave them... and I said in my last video, I would give them 5 minutes to talk about the Morpheus. And I don't want them to talk about it for more than 5 minutes. And they didn't even talk about it for 1 minute. It was like 30 seconds of Project Morpheus stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. That's fine with me. I don't mind, because I really don't care about Project Morpheus. Seriously. Like, why would you buy... And I'm not going to go on a rant about this. Why would you buy this knowing Sony's past history with gimmicky peripheral stuff? They're not going to support it. They're not. I'm sorry, guys. They're not going to support it. It's just that simple. So there's that. And then they actually started talking about TV again, which after last year, where they went on and on and on and on and on about video and television, it just got fucking boring last year. They talked about it for like 1 or 2 minutes, and it was actually something that, shockingly, I was interested in. It was where this PlayStation Vue, which I haven't really done my research on that. I guess it's a cloud-based TV thing, and they're going to act like, the thing that really got me interested in it is that it's the first cable service, well, not really cable, but the first TV service that actually allows you to subscribe to individual channels instead of doing this multi-channel package bullshit. And the PlayStation Plus members will actually get discounted rates, which I must admit has me intrigued. I'm not sure if the price will be worth it, but for somebody like me who doesn't really care about the majority of TV out there, but I want stuff like Nickelodeon, like Cartoon Network, like TV Land, like Turner Classic Movies, stuff like that. I don't know, it might be a cool thing if they actually play their cards right and the rates are decent. I might actually bite, and it's going to be in my area now that it's in LA and San Francisco, which is really cool. So yeah, bravo to them for actually showing something TV related that I gave a shit about, which is astonishing. And then one of the biggest, like, if I were to ever call a point in this conference the weak point, or one of the weakest points, it would be this, where Call of Duty is now the home of... PlayStation is now the home of Call of Duty, is what they're basically saying. So Black Ops 3, they debuted the co-op gameplay, the campaign, and then they did the multiplayer. And then, of course, like Microsoft has been doing for years, they're going to be doing, PlayStation 4 users will get exclusive map packs, they'll get online beta first, they'll get all the DLC for a month before the Xbox One. It's like, alright, Activision, okay, so you're already doing this with Destiny, and it's going to continue with Destiny, so sorry, Xbox users. I definitely sympathize with you guys that are pissed off about this. Now Sony is taking this, and I'm not happy. I'm not gonna brag. I don't think it's a win. I like, the only person it's a win for are the corporate guys. That's it. That's the only people it's a win for. That's it. It's not the gamers. It's not the people that love Xbox. Not the people that love PlayStation. We all lose, okay? Because we lose, and the sooner people realize this, maybe we can start to take steps towards changing this, because this is getting fucking ridiculous. This really is. And for all the people going, woohoo, yeah, fuck you, Microsoft, the people that are still about this console war bullshit, okay, how did you feel when Microsoft did this to you? How did you feel when Dragon Age Inquisition was home to content first a month before PlayStation got it? How do you feel about that? Yeah, that's what I thought. You don't like it. So why the fuck do you think it's fair to say, like, fuck you, Microsoft, now Microsoft's people are getting screwed over by that? It's not. It sucks. Like I said, nobody is a winner here. The sooner you pull your head out of your ass and realize that, the better this will be. Okay? Alright, moving along. Then we got to the Star Wars section, which, oh my god. Okay, you know how I said in my last video in part 1 how I found the guy that did Unravel really charmingly, because he was really nervous, he seemed really excited, and he had this like cute little Unravel doll to show people. And it was this guy, and it reminded me a lot of what E3 is supposed to be, where it's a genuine passion and excitement for this game. It's this guy coming out on stage and saying, I poured my fucking heart and soul into this game, and here it is, I finally get to share it with you guys. And he looked genuinely excited, and that was charming. And then we have this asshat comes on from the Disney Infinity people, where he just comes on and he's like the usual corporate PR bullshit where it's like, here's a fun way for Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity is a great way to introduce the children to Star Wars, and PlayStation is gonna get this exclusive, and PlayStation's gonna get that exclusive. PlayStation's gonna get the Rise of the Empire before everybody else. PlayStation's gonna get the Boba Fett action figure before everybody else. PlayStation's gonna get the PlayStation 4 Collector's Edition. I'm sorry. Nobody's gonna get the Collector's Edition except PlayStation 4. So if you're a big Disney Infinity fan on the Xbox or Wii U, tough shit. PlayStation gets everything. And it's like, that was probably actually, I don't know, that's neck and neck for the Black Ops 3 shit as far as the low point of this conference, because those two things I just could not have given two shits about. I don't care about Call of Duty. I don't care about Disney Infinity. Hey, it rhymes. Yeah, I don't care. And then, of course, I knew they were going to do this when I didn't see it on Microsoft stage. Or actually, I knew this because the place, like, when they showed Star Wars Battlefront at the Star Wars Celebration, it was a PlayStation logo, which I found to be really odd. So, it wasn't a PC version that they were showing, which kind of worries me now after Arkham Knight being a fucking disastrous PC port. I wonder what Battlefront's going to be like. Hell, I wonder what the PS4 version is going to be like. Are the servers going to be able to handle it? I don't know. We'll see. But they did show Star Wars Battlefront. They showed the game's survival mode, which is basically horde mode. You know, looked alright. I mean, the graphics are fine. It's just, I was honestly more impressed with the Hoth stuff. And even then, I've heard some things about the Hoth level that has me really nervous about this game. So, there's that. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm cautiously, I'm out of my fuck you Star Wars Battlefront phase, and I'm more into my, okay, I'm going to keep my eye on this. I'm going to keep a lookout for this. But if you fuck up, I won't be disappointed, because I will have braced myself for this. Or actually, no. I take that back. I will be disappointed, because I waited fucking 10 years for a Star Wars Battlefront sequel, and I get this instead. So, thank you. But keep in mind, even though all the gameplay looks great, the gameplay may look awesome, it still doesn't have space combat, still doesn't have a good single-player campaign, still doesn't have Clone Wars, still doesn't have Galactic Conquest. Yes, they finally confirmed that there's a Heroes vs. Villains mode, thank God, which is one of the best parts of 2. So, yeah, we'll see. Okay, and then the final thing they showed, before I get into talking about the bombshells, is they showed a pretty extensive demo for Uncharted 4, and it looked great. It's Uncharted. It astonishes me how good this game looks, how well the crowd looks, how well the action looks. It just looks great, even with some minor technical hiccups, which I'm actually glad they took this out of 2015. if it still has work to be done on it, which, good, take as long as you need. Although, the one thing I am disappointed with the game is it's not going to be 60 frames per second in the single player, which I was like, come on, guys, you guys promised that this was going to be 60 frames per second. And then you guys just backed off on your word, and now it's 30 frames per second for the single player and 60 frames for the multiplayer, which, whatever. Okay, so that looked great, and that was a cool way to end the conference. Alright, so, part 1 of Sony's trifecta of bombshells. They started off with The Last Guardian, which is something I never thought we would see again, which I was like, thank God, good, because it looks amazing, and I'm glad that the director of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus is still on it, Fumito Ueda. So I was, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It looks great. It has that Ico and Shadow of the Colossus feel to it. It has that Team Ico feel to it. And I don't even know if I want to play it because I don't want that dog bird thing to die. I know it's going to die. You can't fool me, Team Ico. I know it's going to die. So that worries the hell out of me. And I like that the director was actually in the audience, and he looked genuinely pleased to be there. And which is something, because I heard there was tension between him and Sony. That's why he left Sony as a full-time employee for whatever reason. But he was still under contract to do The Last Guardian. But I guess they've etched out some deal so far. So I guess all seems well for this, which is good. I mean, happy workers makes a good game. So, well, in most cases. So there's that. And then they moved on to what was maybe my highlight of the conference. My favorite part of the conference. When they showed off, I cannot believe this is still happening. An actual high definition, not a PC port, remake of Final Fantasy VII, which, oh my god, when that happened, when I saw the live stream, the green live stream on the screen, I went, no fucking way! No way! No, don't do this to me. Don't fucking do this to me, Square Enix. And then they did it, and I was like, oh my god, yes! Fucking Final Fantasy VII! It's finally coming! And it's not just a high definition remaster. It's a remake, which I have absolutely no problem, and they've already confirmed that they're going to keep the lighthearted moments in the game, which, good, thank you. I have no problem if they tweak the combat, if they tweak some elements of the story. I have absolutely no problem with that. I really don't. I don't have a problem with that. I guess I understand people that are really worried and pissed off that they might change the combat, but I'm going to be honest here, I don't like turn-based combat. I especially don't like it in like the old school stuff. I think Final Fantasy VII is just that good of a game where I can push past it. But yeah, even if they changed it, and I know this is going to sound like heresy, but I honestly don't mind if they change the combat to what it's like in Final Fantasy 15. If it's this dynamic combat like Kingdom Hearts like that, I won't mind. It will be cool. That won't bother me. I know a lot of people will be pissed off, but I'm going to be one of those people that will fully support that decision. Because let's face it, with these graphics, you can't do the turn-based stuff. You can't have them stand in a line, jump forward, attack, and then jump back. It does not look right with these kind of graphics. It looks strange. So, yeah, I was really happy about that. Really, really super excited. And then the final bombshell, which I have admittedly mixed feelings on this now that the dust has settled and then the cynicism is starting to kick in. It's like, okay, I am ecstatic that Shenmue III is coming. I have never played any of the Shenmue games because I never owned a Dreamcast or an original Xbox, so I never got to play 1 and 2. But every gamer, every big gamer knows the legend of Shenmue III, where this has been one of the most highly requested games of all time, right up there with Half-Life 3, right up there with Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's one of the most like fan requested games ever, and I'm happy it's getting made. I'm really happy Yu Suzuki is still back on it. That's great. My only issue with this is the fact that they launched it via Kickstarter. And I don't buy their excuse for doing that, where it's hey, we just wanted to see if the public was interested in it. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that the public would be interested in it if you announced just like plainly announced it with some kind of trailer. Even if it turned out to be a PlayStation 4 PC exclusive, even if it turned out to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive, it would be like, I just don't understand that reasoning behind doing it, where it's like, well, we wanted to see if the public was interested in it. Apparently you haven't been on the internet for the past 14 years where people have wanted Shenmue 3, and it's been on countless lists for the most fan-requested game ever. I don't think you guys needed a Kickstarter to see that. So this, to me, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I was planning on donating towards it, but now that I know that Sony is, in fact, funding it, it's like, why even bother contribute towards it anymore? I think it's unfortunate now, as I'm writing this, they've added all these insane amount of stretch goals, and I think it's at 3.2 million right now, and it's all the way down to 11 million. And it sounds like all this really cool stuff that they could add into the game. But I'm just wondering, why didn't they just do that to begin with? Why didn't Sony just fund all of that money to begin with, so we could get all that cool stuff in the game? So now it's not going to be the game. I guess they're going to hold it back to being the full Shenmue 3 experience that it really could be, because they fucked up and announced that Sony was going to fund it, and it's like why even contribute to the Kickstarter now? No one's going to, which is sad, because we're not going to see it. And I would encourage you guys, I hate to say this, but I would encourage you guys, don't put money towards it. Not if Sony is going to foot the bill. And I know they said, well, Sony isn't going to get a single penny of this. Yeah, but Sony could also fund what you're offering in the stretch goals. It's that simple. How simple would it be for them to write an $8 million check, get that all funded? It'd be really simple. So I just don't, and now I'm scared that developers are going to do this with other games. And we've seen the rise of Kickstarter. I think this is the transition point where it's kicked into something really high gear as far as this goes. Now I'm worried that we're going to get Ubisoft doing, well, if you want Beyond Good and Evil 2, you're going to have to go to Kickstarter and fund it yourself. Or if you want Half-Life 3, Valve is going to go to Kickstarter and ask for that. And it's like, this worries me. I'm simultaneously excited for Shenmue 3, and I'm happy it's finally coming. But at the same time, this concerns me to where this could get way out of hand, because every time something is introduced, something new is introduced, it is exploited to the point where people get sick of it. So I hope companies don't, like big companies, don't take advantage of Kickstarter like this. I hope only smaller, or only like a single guy like Keiji Inafune, or the guy from Bloodstain, or the guys from Rare that did Yooka-Laylee, where they come together and it's like their own new studio and they ask for the funding because they literally don't have the funds for it. So, you know, I don't know. I'm worried, guys. I'm really, really worried. Which, oh man, it just scares me. It really does. And at this point, Shenmue 3 is at 3.6 million, which all the stretch goals go down to 11 million, which it's never going to reach. I doubt it will even reach 5 million at this point, which is really sad, because with all this, they were going to add all these additional quests and ragdoll physics and AI battling and kung fu mastery and all, and it sounds really cool. And we could just get all that if Sony would write that $7.4 million check. We would get all of that. But no, they had to do Kickstarter, and I feel like they kind of dropped the ball in the future at that respect. So anyway, there's that. So that was the E3 2015 conference, and I thought it was excellent. It was much better than last year's conference. I would say it's almost better than E3 2013, which that was legendary. So there's that. And it was a great conference. It really was. So I'm not going to talk about Nintendo very much. Nintendo, it was like meh. And the only things that really excited me, honestly, were Star Fox, Mario Tennis, which I really like Mario Tennis from back in the day. And this new game from Level 5 that is apparently already out in Japan that's super popular. So those I'm excited about. Everything else, I was just meh. I so don't care. And people, I think that was the general consensus for Nintendo's conference. People really just reacted either super negatively, which I didn't, honestly. I there was really nothing for me to react negatively towards. I mean, I understand that people are pissed off about the whole. I understand people are pissed off about the whole Metroid thing. I understand. I totally understand that. It's just it was nothing that really interested me. Really wasn't. It was like almost nothing. It was just meh. Alright, so Nintendo, meh. Weakest showing there, in my opinion. And then they went on to Square Enix, which I'm gonna skip through a lot of this stuff because I already made a video about Square Enix, so I'm not gonna go into so much detail about what I already talked about in that video. Okay, so they showed Just Cause 3, which looks really good. Really looking forward to that. Again, they showed off a trailer for Rise of the Tomb Raider, which, honestly, I'm still not all that crazy about the footage that I've seen from it. It just doesn't really interest me in the moment. I'm still excited for the game, and I really want it, but just none of the footage has really just blown me away. And then they showed off the Hitman again. It's a gameplay trailer. It looked more interesting than the CGI trailer that was at the Sony conference, which, I don't know, if that turns out to be great, I might pick that up. Square Enix Montreal showed off the long-awaited gameplay trailer for Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which looks fantastic. That looks awesome. I can't wait to play that. And they showed off some new things as well. They showed off a sequel to Nier, which I'm not really crazy about, but Platinum Games is developing it. So from a gameplay standpoint, that might be really cool, because Platinum is known for the really good combat. And they showed a mobile game from Tomb Raider, which I couldn't have cared less about. They announced that PC port of Final Fantasy VII, which I doubt anyone's going to get at this point, the PS4 version is now coming out in winter. The iOS version is coming out in the summertime, which, meh. And they showed World of Final Fantasy again, which, eh. And they one of the things that they showed off that was Kingdom Hearts related was the Unchained key, that the mobile game from Japan that's finally getting a North American release, and I probably will be picking it up, even though I don't really like the card-based system that it's having, but it's tied to Kingdom Hearts 3. But then again, I could always just watch it on YouTube. I already know how it's linked to Kingdom Hearts 3. So, because I've been keeping up with what the lore is from that game. So there's that. I'm excited to see what that's all about. They also announced a Final Fantasy app, which is really odd. Was like, meh, it was whatever. And then they showed up Star Ocean 5, which I'm really excited about. And it's going to be a PS4 exclusive in North America and Europe. It's coming out in 2016. It looks cool. I'm really excited to play the new Star Ocean. I really liked the last Star Ocean, the last Hope, I think it was called. And then, weirdly enough, they announced this new IP of theirs, and it's tentatively titled Project Setsuna, which seems to look interesting from the concept art. We know nothing about it. We haven't seen any kind of gameplay from it. But it's from a new studio of theirs called Tokyo RPG Factory. So, and they're committed to making new RPGs for Square Enix, which, good. Thank you. That's what you're supposed to do, Square Enix. Make RPGs. There is still, I think they realized this from Bravely Default, how, thank God that sold so well. So now we're finally going to be getting RPGs from Square Enix again at a very regular basis, which, good. Okay. And then, like, in the middle of the conference, the highlight of the conference, by far, the only thing that made this conference worthwhile, Kingdom Hearts 3 came in, and it just soared like an eagle off the screen, and it just looked like everything I had hoped for in my dreams and in my anticipation. It just looks like everything I've ever wanted from the natural progression for Kingdom Hearts to the next-gen console. It looks astonishing. It really does. It looks amazing. It looks amazing. So let's start with what they showed first. First of all, they showed Master Erika, a young Master Ericus, Master Xehanort, playing chess, some kind of chess game, where they talked about the Keyblade War, how it's going to be how light and darkness will come back, all that stuff. So we've heard all this before. We saw a glimpse of their conversation last year in some very, very brief teaser for the game at the end of the 2.5 trailer for E3. And at the time, it was kind of I kind of had a hint that it was going to be them, but I wasn't sure. And so from that point on, it led on to the, oh my god, like the most beautiful looking gameplay. Where Sora has this, it looks so bright and colorful, and the graphics look insane, and the blades of grass on the ground looked amazing, and the environments look amazing, and it's this big open world thing, and it just blew me away when I saw it. And then you get into the fact that there's the Tangled world, which that wasn't really one of my hopes that a Tangled world would be in it. It's an obvious choice, but whatever. I know a lot of people love Tangled more than I do. I really don't like Tangled, but the world's going to be in it. Looks beautiful. And then we got to see in action the new Keyblade transformations, which we got to see Sora, and there's a part where Sora jumps off the environment like so many feet down to the ground, which looked amazing. It's something I've never seen in Kingdom Hearts before. So you can tell that these are seamless environments. There's going to be probably very little load times between. Because back then, like every new area, there'd be a loading screen. And then we got to see the Keyblade transformations, like I said. We got to see it where it turned into dual guns. We see Sora shoot out this kind of laser thing from the guns. It looks great. We got to see it turn into some kind of Keyblade bazooka thing where it fires this shot and it magic shoots out. And we got to see more of the ride system, I think it's called the attraction flow is what it's called, where Sora's on the pirate ship and it transforms, and then he uses it to attack the Heartless from there, which we saw in the trailer at D23 almost 2 years ago. I can't believe it's been almost 2 years. So, and then it moved on to, which Sora can climb up a fucking wall now. He can just jump up a straight wall to fight the Rock Titan, which they confirmed at this point that there's going to be the Olympus Coliseum is going to be back, which, good, thank you. Which one of the classic worlds that I wanted. And we got to see the roller coaster again, which I assumed that was just going to be concept. That was just a concept thing. But no, that actually looks like they're bringing in the roller coaster idea, which is really cool. And that should be something really awesome when going against the Rock Titan, because I think Nomura has stated that this game is going to have a very Shadow of the Colossus feel to it when going against especially the bigger bosses like the Rock Titan, which looks amazing. And then we got to see the another part of the attraction flow, which they went to Twilight Town, which hopefully Twilight Town is actually in the game, hopefully, and it looks beautiful, it looks better than ever. We got to see the Mad Teacups. The fucking Mad Teacups, which looks awesome! It's like, I was so happy when Mad Teacups popped on. It looked so great. I love that they're actually bringing Disneyland attractions into the game. It looks beautiful. It's so cleverly implemented. And then there's also the fact that the Keyblade it summons this chariot that has Pegasus from Hercules attached to the end of it, and you can attack the Heartless from there. And just, oh my god, it was just so much stuff in a 2-minute trailer. It was an overwhelming amount of stuff to take in. And honestly, if they don't show anything until D23 for the rest of the year, I'm absolutely okay with that. Because I didn't even think... I kept telling people, they're not going to show anything at E3. They're not going to. They're not going to have Kingdom Hearts 3. And again, I've never been more happy to be wrong. Because it looks so fucking awesome! It's like the most anticipated game ever right now, for me at least. I cannot fucking wait for this. I'm so goddamn excited. And then we get... the final closing scene where it's Master Ericus and Master Xehanort talking, and they're talking about how, well, you know, darkness will prevail, it's written, and then Master Ericus kind of goes, well, maybe I can change that. And Xehanort looks, and his future Keyblade is hanging on the wall. Probably it's owned by their master, which that should be really interesting to see in Kingdom Hearts 3, how Xehanort acquires that Keyblade. And how the relationship between Master Ericus and Master Xehanort changes, which that definitely should have a tragic element to it. So that would be really interesting. And we have no idea when this game is going to come out. We have no idea. My prediction is it's going to be like 2018, 2019 is when we're going to see this thing hit the shelves. I hope to God this gets a simultaneous worldwide release. Because I'll be pissed. I'll be fucking pissed if Japan gets this 6 months before we do. Because then it will be like spoilers galore. I'll have to avoid every single bit on the internet about it. And I don't want to hear about it. So, yeah. Yep. There's that. Alrighty. That was Square Enix's conference. Not great, but it was decent. Clearly Kingdom Hearts 3 was like the best part of it by far. And that concludes my thoughts on E3 2015. So overall, what did I think about it? It was the best E3 I've ever seen. I had expectations for it. I didn't think it was going to be a very exciting year, but it blew me away. It blew me the fuck away because it just looked all of it. There was not besides Nintendo. Even the conferences that I expected to suck ass, like EA and Ubisoft, they actually were rather decent, which shocked me. Microsoft pulled out some cool stuff. Sony pulled out some really awesome stuff. So I definitely want an Xbox One at this point. I'm convinced. I want one for Sea of Thieves, Cuphead, and what's the other one? The Rare Replay, which all of them look great. So really happy about that. And overall, I'm just a really happy gamer this year at E3. So, yeah. I can't wait for next year. I cannot wait for E3 2016. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about all the conferences I talked about in this video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.